Get back homeward. Once there was a way to get back home. Sleep, pretty darling, do not cry. And I will sing a lullaby. Golden slumbers fill your eyes. Smiles awake you when you rise. Sleep, pretty darling, do not cry. And I will sing a lullaby.
There's a sacredness in tears. They are not the mark of weakness, but of power. They speak more eloquently than 10,000 tongues. They are the messengers of overwhelming grief, deep contrition, and of unspeakable love. Washington Irving. We gather today to honor Connie Marino, who has passed into the eternal. A myriad of emotions will be sweeping over us as we simultaneously mourn the loss and celebrate her extraordinary life. Words will never be enough to express the heartbroken, open feeling of losing a loved one. Sometimes all we can do as humans is to honor the life of that loved one by doing good in their name, by honoring the connection with them in every breath we take. Let your memories comfort you. Let the time spent with her be the blanket of warmth that surrounds you. Let the pain subside, moving from sharpness to muted. Be of comfort to each other as you share stories about Connie. Most of all, we want you to remember that love is eternal, and the truth of who Connie will always be lives on. As Kaylee was telling me about Connie's death, I had a flash of memory visiting her home many years ago to interview her about her artistry. Looking around the warm and welcoming space, I felt like I'd literally walk into the imagery. She gave me a box of note cards that had some of her paintings on them. May the beauty that she created live on. Connie truly was a work of art. As we honor Connie, we acknowledge that she is the last of the 3 sisters in her family who have passed. And as we take a deep breath, people are going to be sharing their stories, and I invite Michael to be the first to share. Do you have the microphone? Cool, okay.
I'm going to read this because it made me think of her. You can only have one mother, patient, kind, and true. No other friend in all the world will be the same to you. When other friends forsake you, to mother you will return. For all her knowing kindness, she asks nothing in return. As we look upon her picture, sweet memories we recall of a face so full of sunshine and a smile for one and all. Sweet Jesus, take this message to our dear mother above and tell her how we miss her and give her all our love. And this is an Irish funeral prayer, and it just made me think of her because I had kind of a rough teenage years because I was never in serious trouble, but I was always doing something to annoy somebody, and especially my father. And she's always in my back, and she was always looking out for me, always looking out for me. I knew I had a friend in Jesus but maybe even a bigger friend in my mother. And she introduced me. I was always into jazz, but she introduced me into the classical music when I got walking pneumonia in 9th grade, and gave me a master pianist that was doing the Beethoven piano concertos. And when they were threatening to destroy my senior year in wrestling, and Billy, who we both went to the States, the athletic director found out I had forgotten to get a physical. He was going to disqualify the whole team over that. And she went in there and she made short work of him. And anyway, and then I was feeling really bad. It hit me harder than I thought, because when she almost passed 2 years ago, and we threw a big party for her, and she came back suddenly, and I think it was the cannolis we bought her. It was the healing power of cannolis, and she just sprung back into action, and it was so nice. Yes, that's right. And Michelle was singing and all that, and she just kind of popped back in, and she had already brought in the what do you call them? Home hospice care. But 2 years later, now she's finally passed. But I had a dream of her. It was about 2 days after she passed. I was sitting there, and that picture there that Richie had pulled out of my mom that looks almost like Charlene. I just was looking at it. It's just so comforting, and some other nice things happened for a change that day. And I just went to sleep feeling so peaceful. And then I had a dream that we were in this, like the Mann Music Center, like an open air, and I was sitting on the outskirts of a class. The teacher was teaching, and then someone started singing, and it was her. And other people were singing. And so finally, after a while, we were just having such a wonderful time. And the teacher came up, this is nice, but I'm really trying to teach this class, and some people are trying to listen. And my mom said, oh, leave them alone, they're having fun, like she would do. And it was like she was talking in the back of my head. It was like right behind me, but I didn't see her. So then we start going out around where I left the class, and we're all caroling. And I didn't know any of these songs, but I seemed to be able to sing them perfectly. They were just glorious, glorious songs. And every once in a while, she's commenting and laughing, and all her friends. I didn't recognize any of them, but they're just such a wonderful dream. So she comes back, and we're on the outside of the Mann Center, and we're talking and giggling, talking, and he comes up again. He says, you're back, but we're still trying to teach this class. And she again says, hey, we're having fun. Just stay out of it. And then I woke up. And I still could hear her. And I woke up and I'm like, you're not, why didn't you stand in front of me? Why didn't I get to see you? He goes, oh, we're having so much fun. We'll have time for that later. That was a dream. But it just brought me such a peace that she was happy, and she was kind of that age, maybe a little bit older. And her voice sounded, I didn't get to see her. I'm still waiting. So anyway, that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Michael. Okay, and Billy, would you like to share?
It's funny, I wrote something down that I wanted to say, and I kind of changed my mind, because one of the things that really stuck in my mind about Mom is right before she passed. And at the time, I was in denial. I didn't think she was going to pass. And I went up to her bed, and I took her up to her bed. And I was her caretaker for the last couple of years. And I took her up to bed, laid her down, and she was a little bit more flaccid and not quite as aware of how things were going on, and I laid her down. And then basically I was looking at her, and I held her hand, and I said, "Okay, Mom, I'm going to put you to bed now." And she wouldn't let go of my hand. And silly me, I said, "Are you okay, Mom? Are you doing all right?" And she knew that it was her time to go right then and there. And I could slap myself in the face because I didn't realize that. And I said, "Hey, don't worry, everything's going to be okay." And then I kind of looked at her eyes, and she went like this with her hands to my hands like this. And me, stupid me, says, "Oh, I'll be all right. Don't worry." I said to her, and I'm thinking about what's going on, and then right in front of me, she started taking deep breaths and letting them out like that. She took 2 deep breaths, and then she stopped breathing. And then I didn't think, and then I thought, is she breathing? And then her hands went limp. And then I said, "Oh my God, she's not breathing anymore." And so I tried to breathe in her mouth to get her to breathe again. And she had her lips closed really tight. And she was like still. And she was just saying goodbye to me. And she still had my hand really tight with her hand. But she was, at that point, I knew that she went right to heaven. And I knew that she was saying goodbye to me. And at that time, I said, I wish that I could have said goodbye to her when she said goodbye. But it was probably the most enlightening experience of my life. And I'll always remember you, Mom, in that light, because you were the most beautiful person in my life, and I love you.
Is there anyone else who would like to share? And keep in mind, if you don't share here, there'll be plenty of time afterward when you're gathering downstairs. Is it downstairs? Yeah, downstairs. Plenty of time if you're more comfortable sharing privately.
I'm not really sure how to sum up my lifetime experience with my mom in 2 minutes. All I can think of is lately how I used to watch her paint for hours. I would sit there and we would just talk or not talk, and I just watch her methodically do each little thing, and she really attention to detail. That was her thing, and I think that's probably a good trait of a mother, is attention to detail. And my mother is a very caring person, and a very nice lady. And I felt very close to her. I felt very connected. We were both very psychically connected. And it was kind of hard to get away with anything because she always knew what I was up to, or she could just tell. She could read me like a book, And I feel like I inherited her sensitivity, and I always connected with her, and I felt like especially when I was a teenager, we were like friends, best friends. We did a lot of chit-chatting and shopping together, and I just felt cared for. I love my mom, and I also had a dream of her. I didn't see her in the dream. We were talking on the phone, and she told me, she was going on about something, I don't know what, and I was like, Mom, how are you? And she goes, "Oh, I'm fine. I'm great. blah, blah, blah. I don't remember exactly what we said, but I just remember her saying that, and then I don't remember the rest of the dream. But I talked to her on the phone, so I didn't see her either, Mike. But we'll see her again. We'll see her again. And I really feel that. And I asked her when she was alive if she believes in the beyond, that there's something beyond all of this. And she said, oh, I know there is. I just know there is. And she told me all of the stories of visitations from Aunt Diane and, you know, like all of their exchanges when Aunt Diane had left the planet. And I still feel her, and I felt her too when she passed. I was in the other room, and I didn't realize that she was passing, but it's that same connection, that lucid connection that we would get with each other, you know, and I could tell she was thinking of me, and I'm thinking of her. It was that same thing. I was like, but I kind of ignored it. I was in denial too, you know. And then you called me upstairs, and she had passed. But she held my hand too for those couple of nights. And yeah, and she also, I saw her I saw her talking to somebody, and I think it was, I asked her if it was Johnny Cakes, her father. He always had brought cakes and candies, and he had jokes and stories, and he was a really jolly, creative guy. That's where she got her artistic creativity from. And I said, is Johnny Cakes here? Who are you talking to? Somebody's there. And that's all I have right now. I have a lot of emotion and thoughts, but that's all I can do right now. And God bless Ma. God love Ma. God love Ma.
Would anyone else like to share?
Can I just say one more thing? I got the most. Okay. Michelle, that was so beautiful. Golden Slumbers. That was one of her songs she played on the piano. Like, we had a Beatles book, and she would play different songs. And that one, like, always, that made her tear up. She, like, and I used to sit there and listen to her play. And it was really important to me that I knew years ago that's what I wanted for her at her memorial. Yeah. That was beautiful. Thank you so much.
I just want to add something that you said. There was a reason why her father was called Johnny Cakes, because every Friday he'd be hopping a jig with a thing full of donuts, coming home for his family to share the candy with. And when they wouldn't eat their meal, and the mother would say, no, you don't get dessert, he says, oh no, they're going to be too hungry. If they don't eat their meal, feed them 2 desserts.
Connie was my aunt, and we spent a lot of time together, our family and hers. We loved Michael and Billy. My sister and I were very close to them, and my older sister took care of Richard and Charlene sometimes. And we spent holidays together, and Aunt Connie always made us feel welcome. She was very relaxed about the raviolis being done on time and the Italian wedding soup, you know, coming out. And she didn't make us feel worried or nervous. She made us feel that she was happy to see us, that we were welcome into her home, and that she would feed us and make us feel good to be family and be together.
Anybody else?
No? Okay. There definitely will be more time afterward. And I'd like to invite Michelle back up for this exquisite rendering of Ave Maria.
She loved that too.
Yeah, just push the button. What is dying? I am standing on the seashore. A ship sails in the morning breeze and starts for the ocean. She is an object of beauty, and I stand watching her till at last she fades on the horizon, and someone at my side says, "She's gone." Gone? Where? Gone from my sight, that is all. She is just as large in the masts, hull, and spars as she was when I saw her, and just as able to bear her load of living freight to its destination. The diminished size and total loss of sight is in me, not in her. And just at the moment when someone at my side says, "She's gone," there are others who are watching her coming, and other voices take up a glad shout. There she comes, and that is dying. This is written by Bishop Brent. Let's take a final moment to hold Connie in our hearts and blow her a kiss. Can you join me in doing that? To send her on her way. May Connie's soul soar. And the final song that Michelle's going to sing, when Michael and Kaylee and I were planning the service, she says, "Oh, I want Nature Boy." And my heart leapt because that was my mother's favorite song too. So maybe they're meeting up there somewhere. Yeah, Jewish mama and an Italian mama, you never know. Good.
There was a boy, a very strange, enchanted boy. They say he wandered very far over land and sea. A little shy and sad of eye, but very wise was he. And then one day, one magic day, he passed me my way, while he spoke of the many things, fools and kings. This he said to me. The greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love, be loved in return.
So if you haven't already seen these beautiful pictures, I invite you to take time to do that and to join the family downstairs for some comfort, social, celebration time. Michael, is there a slideshow? Or is there not time to do that? Oh, so, yeah, okay, so that'll be downstairs also. So thank you, God bless everybody, and just love. That's all, that's what this is about. Thank you.